Woke up on the right side of the bed. What's up with this Prince song inside my head? Hands up if you're down to get down tonight.
Hey guys, we're back for another week of reviews for Dancing with the Stars. This is week 8 and it was America's Choice. Well, I can't really say America's because people from outside of America get to vote like me. But, however, it was America's Choice and we got to choose from the costumes to the styles to the songs. We got to participate in everything for that dance, which I love because it gives the fans a chance to voice their opinions. There was no opening dance this week, which I really don't like because I love the opening numbers. They are always so pretty, but I understand why we don't have opening numbers every week, and it's because it takes a lot out of the pros. And I would understand especially this week because almost every pro was assigned to a couple for the trio competition. So that's what's going on. Next week is semi-finals. Well, I believe it's maybe not next week, it's week after, I believe, because I think next week we are having the Bachelorette special. I will be doing a review on that as well. So if you like The Bachelorette, then you can check me out next week and I'll have a video up on my review for The Bachelorette. But I am not too sure on the date of the semis. But as usual, if you check out Tom Bergeron's page, it should be somewhere up there. So check him out on Twitter and see what he says. This week was a double elimination, as we know from last week, which I was not too psyched about because I've grown to really like all the dancers there and I didn't want any of them to leave, but sadly 2 of them have to leave. Well, had to because it passed already. Had to leave on Tuesday night. The first couple to perform was Noah and Sharna. They had a tango. I did not get the name of the song, but it was a tango and the fans wanted a military theme. But Noah said that he couldn't use a military uniform unless it was something to do with the army and it had to be approved first. So then they decided to go with all white tango. That means Noah would be in a white suit. I thought the dance was really sharp and clean. They both looked very beautiful. It was difficult for the judges to judge due to his injuries because in the tango you need flexed knees and rotations, etc. And he really couldn't bring that across because of his injuries, but he was still judged. He had a good frame, and Carrie Ann said it was a bit blocky. No, they got a 8788, and I'm going to calculate it because I didn't get to write down the score that they got, so I'll tell you what it is in a while. So it was a 31 out of 40. They got 31 out of 40 for that dance, which in my head I think that it was a good dance, but I have a lot of problem like judging the dances for Noah because I feel like I can't judge him the way that I judge everybody else because there's something that he just can't do. It is not his fault, he just can't do it. Our next couple was Whitney and Chris, and they had a contemporary to the song Lay Me Down by Sam Smith. I love that song so much because I love Sam Smith and everything that he does. So I was really excited for that dance. They asked the fans what they should do, and the fans said that they should have a dark room with candles, so it was almost like a romantic setting, which I think is really appropriate for Chris because we all know him as the Bachelor. So that was okay with me. And they went to visit to surprise some fans at their workplace. So that was really cute to see them like going out to the fans and interacting with their fans. And there was a failed bark at some point. I wrote it down. I can't remember what was the comment, and Chris tried to bark or something, and it was just horrible. Chris, you are not a dog. You do not bark. Don't try it, honey. No. Anyway, I love the floor work, but Chris barely danced. There was no dancing from Chris. Just a set of lifts which were amazing, but he barely danced. However, what little dancing he did do, his toes were definitely pointed, which was a good thing for me because as a dancer, we know how important pointed toes are. Julian told him not to have a lazy arm. So when he's doing the lifts or whatever, there's his arm that stays down and he just leaves it there. So don't just leave it there. Do something with it. Overall, they got 9898, which was 34 out of 40. I think it was a bit overscored, but I think that the judges just give them high scores on the night that they are going to leave because the judges know that they're not going to compete again, which kind of sucks. But hey, the next couple was Riker and Allison, and they were doing a Vietnamese waltz to What Now by Rihanna. The fans wanted to see the vulnerable side of Riker, which we have not seen before, because we all know Riker as this happy-go-lucky, energetic guy. So it was really good to see him slow down and show a more vulnerable side of him this week, which he did really great. I still think that his acting was a bit off, but it was still good that he was not just happy-go-lucky all the time in this dance. I loved the beginning of the dance, and he had really nice extensions, and there was this turning rotation sequence in that dance that looked really amazing. It had me dizzy for a moment there, but it looked amazing. And like I said before, the emotion was on flick. It was amazing. Len wanted more hold because he said it is a Viennese waltz and it is a ballroom show. Well, Len, that's where you and I are always going to have an issue. Yes, it is a ballroom show, I guess, but times have evolved. It started out as a ballroom show, and the show has evolved. You have Allison on cast, who is not exactly a ballroom dancer. Allison is a contemporary dancer. So you need to chill out a little. The show is called Dancing with the Stars, not Ballroom Dancing with the Stars. I understand that he wants more hold because it is the Viennese waltz and technique. However, he needs to calm down on the ballroom stuff a little bit because it's not ballroom dancing with the stars, it's dancing with the stars. Len just gets me so frustrated every time he goes on with his rants about the troupe and being in the little dances and you can dance by yourself and da 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 and da 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 da. Len just needs to calm down. I know you're head judge and I love you. Most of the times I agree with what you say, but you need to calm down with it a bit. Anyway, they got the scores of 10, 9, 10, 10, which was a 39 out of 40. The next couple was Kim and Robert. They did a contemporary to Champagne Kisses, and everyone wanted to see them kiss, which they did deliver in the package. They did kiss. It was a quick one, and we didn't really see much of it, but it happened. For some reason, the beginning of their dance reminded me of Val and Janelle's Romeo and Juliet. I am not trying to bring them down and say that they copy anybody dance. No, I am not saying that. I'm just saying that the beginning reminded me of that. And later down in one of the other dances, I think I refer to Janelle and Val again. It is not that I'm trying to say that they stole a dance, but that's just what it reminded me of. It looked like that, and I loved it because I loved the Romeo and Juliet that Val and Janelle did, and I loved that dance just as much. It was a very beautiful dance. He moved a lot more than Chris, and they were both doing contemporary pieces. There were nice lifts and turns, but Robert needed to point his toes. They were not pointing their toes. Well, he was not pointing his toes. What I did not like, however, was that he did not get much technical critique from the judges. If you are going to give them the marks that you give them, and which are not perfect scores, you need to tell them where they can improve so that the next time they perform, they know that we do A, B, C. We need to improve on this, that, and that. Which is something that the judges don't do as much as they should. Especially for certain dancers like Robert. They have all been all over him and Kim, but they are not giving them the technical things that I think they need to hear so that he can improve week after week. I mean, he has been improving, but if they gave him that technical aspect on every dance that he did, I think that he would have improved so much better. Now the scores were 8, 8, 9, 8, which was a 33 out of 40. The next dance was a trio before the trios, I guess I can say. Nastia, Derek, and Sasha. Derek, honey, if you're going to choreograph, you choreograph and stay out of the dance. Because I feel like it's an unfair advantage to Nastia. She has two pros helping her out. Now, no hate to Nastia or Derek. I love the couple, but I just feel like it's an unfair advantage for them. At the beginning of the package, Sasha, sweetheart, I'm so glad that you have come out of the costumes phase because you have had so many costumes. I agree, Sasha. I'm just glad that I get to dance with a celeb right now because you have enjoyed the short stick a lot. I had to laugh when they did Sasha's costume collage. He was the seaweed, the lobster, and some other stuff, and I'm like, the poor guy. And they had him in the not just once in the lobster. The lobster was on like 3 or 4 times. So, like Tom said a couple weeks ago, whoever is your PR, you need to fire him. He's not doing you a good job right now with all these costumes. However, they did a paso to Gladiator. No, they did a paso to Century by Fall Out Boys. I'm sorry, not Gladiator. So it was a paso to Century by Fall Out Boys, and it was a Gladiator theme chosen by the fans. I'm sorry, guys. Hair was in my mouth. I have no idea what happened or how it got there. I had Derek was in the dance again. I love him. I love seeing him dance, and I would miss him if he didn't dance. However, I still feel like it's an unfair advantage for them against the others. I loved the concert, but it could have. I'm sorry, not the concert. I love the concept, but I feel like she could have attacked it more and it could have been more strong, like a paso. I did not get that strength that the judges kept saying that they saw. But the judges saw it, but I did not see that passion. Maybe it was TV versus being live, but I just did not see that attack and passion that the judges said that she had. Um, some of the judges' comment was that I think Glenn said he wanted more recognizable paso in there, and was it? No, it wasn't Julianne. It was Carrie, I think, that said it was out of sync in some places. However, they got 9999 with a 36 out of 40. Next, we have Rumor and Val. Um, Val cried this week, guys. I am a big Val fan, and Val cried this week, and it really hurt me to see Val cry because we don't see the emotional side of Val a lot. Just like we never saw the emotional side of Max when he was before Meryl. I really think that this journey is changing Val. Val cried because he was emotionally hurt to see the way that he treated Rumor and the way that he hurt Rumor. And it was touching that Val cried. Val cried. Oh my god. Anyway, moving on to the dance, they were doing a rumba. I did not get the name of the song, but it was from Strictly Ballroom, which is a ballroom movie. I believe it came out in 1992. So you guys should go and watch that. I felt like it was very clean and emotional. The old Rumor was back, and for those of you all who get what I'm saying, last week she did not seem like herself. She seemed a bit off, and I feel like it was all the pressure that was being put on her. But this week she seemed to have that attack and fierceness that she normally has. It was their best, well, it was their best dance. At that time for me, it was their best dance. That was before I saw their trio dance, but it was the best dance. It was a very clean, classic rumba. They, not they, Rumor looked like she was a pro in this dance. And as we can tell, it was Len's type of dance. It was very clean, very ballroom, very stripped down, and like all the judges said, that's what they wanted to see. That's what America asked for. So it was just an amazing dance. They got all 10, giving them the first perfect score of the season, a perfect 40 for them. Now we are on to the trios, and we had Noah, Sharna, and Emma doing a salsa. It was hard to work around his disability because in salsa you use your arms a lot, and as we know, he is missing an arm. However, it looked fun. I loved the costume with the pink feather things. I wanted one of those. It was my costume of the night. It had a lot of great lifts, and I love the trick thing they did with the circle. That looked amazing. They got 8888, which was a 32 out of 6 of 40, and they got 63 out of 80 as their overall score. The next dance we had was a Paso by Whitney, Chris, and Lindsay. Chris kept dropping the girls and he injured them. I swear, like he just kept dropping them all the time. I'm like, Chris, stop dropping them. You're going to hurt the pros. And I just had to laugh because Whitney's comedy is always on fleek. This girl just doesn't even know that she's that funny. I think she just says whatever she feels like, and she was like, she wanted Chris to get angry, and she was like, imagine that I just burned down all your crops and your soya beans, and I had to burst out laughing. I'm like, that would make him pissed. But however, he did not look like he got pissed at that point. He was just like, whatever. But I actually liked the dance. It was had in he attacked it. It was had intense faces. It was what was I? It looked extra strong, and I love the double spin on the floor thing he did with the girls. So that looked amazing. I think he was really improving. He is. If there was an award for most improved, Chris would get that award hands down. But his timing was off, and it was just okay. So the judges' scores, I can actually agree with them. He got 7,788, which was a 30 out of 40, giving him the overall score of 64 out of 40. The next dance we had was Alison Riker and Brittany, and they were doing a jazz. And we found out that Riker was in a jazz hip hop group with his brothers and sister, I guess. I'm not too sure if Rydell was involved, but I would assume that Rydell was involved because she dances a lot still. There was a trick failure at the beginning of the package, and I was like, ha, really, Riker, you dropped her. It was just so funny. And I think it was funny because I know that the pro was not hurt. Anyway, Riker, moving on to the dance, Riker had a lot of flair. His Riker flair that is always there, that I love, it was there again. The pros were out there, and he looked like he was in his element, and it was super fun. We could see that he knew what he was doing, that he was comfortable with it, which made it look even better. He got a 10, 9, 10, 10, a 9 coming from Len, with a 39 out of 40, 78 out of 80 as his total score. I really think that he should have gotten a perfect score for that dance, but I guess since it was not ballroom, Len had an issue with it. But I don't get why he did not get a perfect score for this dance. I think it was actually a perfect dance, and he deserved a perfect score. The next dance we had was Kim, Robert, and Jenna, and they were doing a samba, and it was basically the concept of supermodels, I believe. Robert had this hip shake thing that he did, and I swear I was laughing throughout this episode of those packages tonight. They were just so funny. I loved it, but Robert could have been a bit more fluid with his hips, and he made a slight mistake, which obviously he got penalized for by the judges. So his overall score for the night was 7,787, and it was a 29 out of 40, which I think was pretty fair for what he put out there. And his overall score was 62 out of 80. The next dance we have is the trio again, Nastia, Derek, and Sasha, which, like I said before, was, I think that it was an unfair advantage. But hey, if they allow it, why not take it? So Nastia was super stressed, and apparently, according to their interview with AfterBuzz, it was like 1 hour or one like day. It wasn't even a day. It was like 1 hour, the last hour before she went home, and it was like everything was piling up on her, and Derek was stressed, and she was stressed, and she just lost it like any normal human being. And I think we've been seeing this week after week with Dancing with the Stars. They are putting out packages there that look like they're causing drama, and they want the drama so that the fans will watch. We saw it with Noah and Sharna, we saw it with Rumor and Val, and now we're seeing it with Nastia and Derek. I think that they need to make a more balanced package. Even if they want to show some drama in there, you should still show what the rest of their week went like, because according to Derek, it was the most fun week they've had. They were laughing and giggling all the time. They were having fun, and he and Nastia both commented to each other that it was the most fun week that they had so far. So the package was not a real representative of what really happened that week. But I guess Nastia was just super stressed at that moment, and all she wanted to do was go home. And can we blame her? I mean, she's been flying 7 hours back and forth because she has school and she has midterms. So we can't blame her for really being stressed. I loved the idea of the neighbors dating the same girl, and she's been flying in and out of each door. It was really funny. Um, I love that they put a lot of her gymnastic moves inside there, and I recognize with Derek that whenever they can use her gymnastics moves, they use it. And then I had a question: is Derek's toe and ankle really injured? Because I swear Derek was like full out dancing this week, which I love to see because I love to see Derek dance. I don't eat me. I'm not like the biggest Derek fan in the world, and I'm not a Derek fan that will go all out crazy on you. I appreciate each of the pros because they put in a lot of hard work. So I'm not going to beat down Derek and say he is unfair and he's a judges and it's a DWTS favorite and whatever. Derek works hard and he does what he has to do to get his celebs to be at a certain standard. And that's what we saw this week. He sacrificed himself for his celeb. I'm sorry. So I just had to ask, was he really injured? Because he was just on a fleek tonight. He looked amazing. I loved the dance. It was great. It was not no like it was other people's favorite, but it was not my favorite of the night, and you'll find out why in a while. The overall score was all tens, perfect 40 out of 40, giving them a 76 overall score. Now, my favorite dance of the night was Val, Rumor, and Artem's. I believe it was a paso, wasn't it? Yes, it was a paso. Okay, so let me just correct something. I'm not too sure if I said they did a paso the first time, but their first dance was a rumba, and this one is a paso. So I'm not too sure what I said down there, but I was just super excited about this paso, and I have been all week because Val and Artem in the same dance is like my perfect dream. The dream, I called that one the dream team. That was like the team that I wanted to see most. Artem and Val. I mean, how hot is that? I got a hit flash for a moment just thinking about the two of them together. So they start off the package showing Rumor and Artem and Val doing this little combo, and like from then it just looked amazing because everything was in sync, and it looked just downright perfect. And Val and Artem, well, Rumor was telling Val and Artem that they needed to take their shirts off and dance with their shirts off, and they were like, oh, they don't want to be, they feel like they're being exploited and yada yada yada. And what I wrote down on my book, and I can show it to you. I hope you can see it. Like, be exploited, Val and Artem. Amen, Rumor. I mean, like, how could you like not see them with their shirts off? The two of them together, shirts off, like the best thing since sliced bread. So I was super happy about that. They had their shirts off. Well, they had jackets on, but it was open. No shirts under. You could see all the Abby goodness. So that was just amazing. The dance itself, besides the guys, was very clean and sharp and fierce. It was very in sync. There was not much to be said about this dance because it was just that perfect. They got a standing ovation, which shows you how good that dance was. It was fierce. It just looked, like I said, there's not much to say about it. It was that good. It reminded me, however, of Janelle and Val's Paso with the fire thing, the fire concept that he had. It reminded me of his Paso with Janelle. I'm not saying that he used the same idea because obviously it was a trio and it was quite different, but just seeing the fire at the beginning reminded me of his Paso with Janelle. They got another perfect score of 40 out of 40, giving them an overall perfect night, 80 out of 80. And I think that it was well deserved, and they went back to strictly ballroom, no gimmicks, no nothing. So I guess Len really approved of their dances that night. And going into the Tuesday night, I guess that's why they got the repeat dance of the night by Len. And I think that it was well deserved. I would have also loved to see Nastia, Derek, and Sasha's trio again because I really like that one as well. But then again, I got to see the Abby goodness, so I don't mind. It was amazing. I loved it. Moving on to Tuesday night, they had some really good performances. They had a performance by Carly Rae Jepsen to her song "I Really, 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 Really Like You." Like that song, as much as I love it, it gets on my nerves, but I still love it, and I guess that's why it's at the top of the Billboard charts because it gets stuck in your head and then you end up liking it. Um, there was Josh Groban who performed, and I loved it. He had Maddie Ziegler and Brian Rumflow, and I'm not sure. I think her surname. I know her name is JC. I think it's Wilkins or something like that. That's her surname. But it was Maddie from Dance Moms, so that's Abby Lee Dance Studio, and Bryn and JC from Club Dance in Arizona dancing with him. Well, to his song. Well, not his song. To the song that he was singing, which is from his new album for, I think it's Broadway Music, and it was Somewhere Over the Rainbow. I believe it is from The Wizard of Oz. Yes, it is from The Wizard of Oz. So I really like that, and I like that it was not just Maddie, but they had Bryn and JC as well. So they were bringing new talent out there. I know Bryn and JC are amazing dancers. I mean, anyone who comes from club dance is usually amazing dancers. Club dance is one of the best studios out there. The kids that attend club dance, their technique is on fleek. And if you watch Dance Moms, you'll know that that's the studio that Kalani on Dance Moms came from, and that's why her technique is so good. And that studio, I think they do Abby's boot camp with her. So their summer booty camp or whatever it is, club dance is normally involved, and Addison Moffett, who is the competition teacher, normally teaches routines there over the summer. So I guess that Breen and JC and Maddie are really good friends. But I mean, like, anybody who comes from club dance is normally amazing. And while I am talking about dance, my future hubby Travis Law Wall was there. I was so happy. I love when dancing with with the stars, and so you think you can dance merge together because they usually create amazing pieces, and with dancers like Whitney and Jenna and Alan and Brittany and Allison all came from So You Think You Can Dance, and like I think other dancers before like Lacey was also on So You Think You Can Dance. The So You Think You Can Dance dancers are normally well rounded because if you watch the show, you know that they do ballroom and contemporary and jazz and musical theater and Bollywood, among others. So they are normally amazing dancers, and I mean, Whitney and Allison are proof of that. And I just love when they merge. I mean, Mandy Moore was originally, or is originally, I think she might still be on So You Think You Can Dance as a choreographer, and now she is on Dancing with the Stars, and she does all the amazing opening numbers that we see week to week. So I just love when they mesh, and that was a really amazing piece from them. And I just want to see more. So You Think You Can Dance on Dancing with the Stars, and maybe in the future, if they start back taking guest judges, they can get one of the judges from So You Think You Can Dance, like maybe Nigel Lithgow, to come on to Dancing with the Stars, because that would be amazing. The person would have a really good dance background, and it would just make sense. Okay, now moving into the double eliminations, we know that Robert and Kim and Chris and Whitney got eliminated last night. I mean, it hurt me either way, because I had really grown attached to every dancer, and I love to see the improvement in them and the new styles and flares, and I looked forward to seeing them every week. But it is coming down to the semis, people. And our top four for the semis are Noah and Sharna, Riker and Allison, Natsia and Derek, and Rumor and Val. I think they have been my final four for a while. My fourth person, which was Noah and Sharna, kept flopping between Noah and Sharna and Willow and Mark. But once Willow and Mark got voted off last week, I knew that Noah and Sharna were going to be in the top four. Who is going to be in the top three is my question. I definitely think that Rumor and Val and Natsia and Derek are top two material. I'm not saying that they're necessarily going to be the top two, but they are top two material. And as much as I really want Riker and Allison there, Noah has a lot of steadfast fans, and I think that next week might actually be the last of Riker and Allison, which I don't want, because I want them to make it to the finals, and I would love to see Riker do some hip hop jazz freestyle thing with Allison, because I know it would be really amazing. But it might just be his last week next week. So my predictions for next week is that Riker goes, even though I don't want him to, and I'm going to cry when he goes, but that's still my prediction. So guys, leave your predictions down below. Tell me who you think who is going home next week, who is going to be our final three. Just let me know, guys. Comment and tell me what you all thought of this week's episode. If you all liked it, if you didn't like it, what you liked, what you didn't like. Just let me know, and I guess until the next episode, I'll see you later.
It's always a good time. Slept in all my clothes like I didn't care.